Melanie Fiona live in the basement. 1050 Folsom, Bay Area Center.
Yeah. So, I'm from Oakland, and you mentioned the connection to Oakland and New Style Motherlode during the show, and I was wondering if you could elaborate on that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm from Toronto, Canada originally. Two of the members of my production management team are from Oakland. So, my manager, Carmen, she really did. She just dropped me off one day, and she was just like, you're going to be in Oakland. Here's New Style Motherlode. Here's co-reaction, and go ahead. Start your artist development. And I was in dance classes every day. I mean, just kind of like getting myself involved in the community over there, and you know, getting myself, you know, developing truly as an artist, and just going through boot camp, truly. I mean, all day, all night. There was no social life. I didn't know anybody at first, but I really, you know, became acclimated with a lot of people over there, and they welcomed me in like a family. And it was the first time I'd been to any area other than Toronto that kind of made me feel like I was at home. So I've had a special place in my heart with the Bay Area since then.
I'm happy to hear that. And how much of what we saw on stage as far as your live performance and just even presence can you attribute to sort of that boot camp or that training and those experiences really cutting your teeth?
Yeah, you know, I feel like the energy of the Bay Area was a great place for me to start, because I feel like it cultivated what was naturally inside of me. You know, in Toronto, where I'm from, I grew up in a bit of both in the inner city and in the suburbs, and it's so multicultural, and I came out here and experienced the same vibe. So I think it just allowed me to really be myself and to find that natural performer in me, rather than fitting into another, you know, another vibe of a city maybe that is foreign to me. So I feel like that the Bay Area is very natural to me, that energy, and it helped kind of make me into this.
So, given that you have traveled now a little bit, I know that you were recently at South by Southwest.
I was.
What was your experience like down there?
Oh man, it was town business, if I can actually say so myself, because like it was excellent. That was my first time at South by Southwest, and I had a great time. I was very excited to experience what that was all about, and it was everything that I thought it was. Live music. I mean, the best artists that you want to see and hear about are there, and I was really excited to do this show at the Kiss and Fly, and I went and I did a mic check, and I don't know if this got around. It did get around because it was all over the internet, and my sound got like messed up. My mic wasn't working like by the time I finished my first song, and so I just cut the whole show, and I got really down on them, and in the nicest way, ladylike way I could, and I had to check the sound guy, because I'm a firm believer that I came to give 100%. People waited around the block that day, all day for a show, and they deserve to get that. So, you know, I don't appreciate when people aren't on their jobs when they're supposed to be. So sound guy, if you're there to do a job, you should be, you know, doing your job, and you should hear that the mic is not working.
Right.
So other than that, it was an excellent experience,
right.
and I made a lot of new fans that weekend, so it was great.
So I'm hoping that there's been less technical difficulties with the tour, and I was wondering if you could share some of your highlights of the Music Matters tour with Marsha, anything that just really stands out?
You know, we're only 5 days in, I think. Dallas, Austin, New Orleans, Houston, Baton Rouge. So this is the 6th show. It's still all new, and of course there's always going to be kinks. There's going to be, you know, things that happen. When a tour first starts, it's a little rocky in the beginning, but I think that's the beautiful thing. The beautiful thing is that I've got Marsha, who's an amazing artist, and then you've got me, and what we do is we really do support each other, and it's not competitive, and it's not, you know, it's a co-headline situation. She supports me and I support her, and that's the energy that we want to bring to people, so people can, you know, understand that it's about music, it's about unity, it's positivity. And I feel like as long as that is really the formula underneath all of this, everything is always going to be okay. Some highlights, I would definitely say South by Southwest was fun. We had a great energy. We had a really cool, intimate, hot, sweaty vibe. It was nice. New Orleans was great. I had a great time in New Orleans. I got to walk the streets, and New Orleans is a city that's so alive, so that was a nice experience for me. And then I would say now here, being back in the Bay, for sure. I mean, the Bay Area doesn't play. Like, they'll let you know if they like you, they'll let you know if they don't. And to feel that they love you is such a reward. It's such an accomplishment, so I'm happy. This is definitely a highlight.
Album, you've said it's more stadium soul.
Yeah.
So what does that transition look like as far as going from small, sweaty, intimate, and with your last album, retro and funky, to stadium soul? What is stadium soul, and how is it different
Stadium Soul is a feeling. It is a sound. I really, I've been blessed and fortunate enough to do a couple major tours with Kanye West and Alicia Keys. And coming off the Alicia Keys tour, I went straight into being creative again and working on my new album. And that was really what inspired me. Was hearing my music in those big arenas, capturing the essence of what it is to be in a small, sweaty place and make people, 15,000 people, 20,000 people feel that is immense. It is really grand feeling. And that's how I wanted this music to sound on this next album. That's how I wanted people to feel. So if I'm in a small venue, it's going to be Stadium Soul sounding in that small venue. If I'm in a large venue, it's going to fill the room. I've been working with some amazing producers. Of course, I've worked with Andrea Martin, who I worked with on the first album, and Jay Phoenix, actually. Same trio that did It Kills Me. We did Gone and Never Coming Back, which is a new single. So it feels good to start off on that foot again. I've worked with Jonte Austin, No ID, Jerry Wonder, John Legend, Shaman Mozart, Jack Splash, Salam Remy. I mean, I went and I just said, I want to work with all the people that I've always wanted to work with and see what I can create with them, whether it makes this album, whether it makes a movie soundtrack, whether it makes the next album. I just needed to get in, and I felt like I had a lot to give after coming off being a new artist, and a lot to say. And so I feel like it's an album of growth, and the MF life is that. It's the ups and the downs, all of it, and we just need to celebrate it.
So that's actually my next question. The new album is the MF life. I know you can't say it, I can say it. The motherfucking life. What does it...
Wash your mouth over.
I'm sorry.
It's the Melanie Fiona life.
I'm sorry.
It's the mighty fine life.
That, right.
You see?
Yeah.
These terrible thoughts.
Whatever shoe fits, right? What does it mean to live the MF life? You know, you have a sonic vision that you sort of articulated, but what is the message that you're sort of promoting? It feels like there's some sort of perspective and theory underlying the MF life that you've done some thinking about.
Oh yeah, the MF life is it's driven by humility, because it's finding the humility in the moments that are the height of success and the height of excitement and the height of popularity and joy and demand. And then it's finding the humility in the lowest moments when you don't feel like you have anything or anyone, and working to get back on top, and the ups and the downs. And really, it's the yin and the yang. I wanted people to know, and my message, I think, with me as an artist has always been letting people know that I go through the same things that they go through. You know, just because I'm on a stage, just because I make music, that's just my vessel. If you're a teacher, if you're an artist, if you're a student, a daughter, whatever it is that you do, you have your vessel, you have your calling, and you go through the things that you go through. I go through the same things just in my capacity of what I do. So the MF life is to remind people that sophomore album, there's still nothing glamorous about this. It is, I'm so blessed and I feel so fortunate to have done everything that I've done. But it's still a grind, and I'm still going through it just like you are. So let's just celebrate it. Let's just celebrate it.
So when you talk about the grind, if you could, what advice would you give your younger self with your present day perspective, looking back, some of the lessons you've learned? If there was one nugget that you could just impart on that younger version of Melanie Fiona, whether it was in Toronto or Oakland or wherever, what would it be?
It's kind of crazy because it's something that I'm still going through, but if there was a way to just say, this is what you need to do, I would, but it would kind of take away from going through what I've been through to get here, and that is really just self-discovery. When you're a new artist, it's, for me, and I can even admit it looking back on it now, as a new artist coming out, you're really trying to find your feet. You're trying to find out who you are, you're trying to find out where you fit into this puzzle, and a lot of things are going to change you, try to change you especially. They're going to be, you know, all these factors of what other people are expecting of you, what other people are comparing you to. And it's very easy to get caught up in almost thinking that you have to listen to that. And if there's one thing that I know I've always stood true to, even if I fumbled my way through and haven't quite figured it out yet, and maybe now I'm figuring it out, is always staying true. know who that is, sticking to that vision and never compromising that for anything or anyone. There's a difference between compromising and cooperating. You can cooperate. When you compromise, you have regret at the end of the day. You lay there at the end of the night and you don't feel good about a decision that you make because you made it for someone else and not for yourself. That is not a good feeling, and that's never the way I've intended to live my life. And sure, there are things I look back and be like, oh, what was I wearing? What did I say? Why did I do that? But you know what? It's life, and that's life. It's totally part of the process.
Right.
So I wouldn't have been here had I not gone through all of it.
And it feels like you've chronicled a lot of that stuff that you've gone through in your music. Your music seems fairly personal.
Yeah.
So I guess for my final question, I just wonder, what to you is your most personal song and why? Not necessarily that it encapsulates who you are or anything like that, but just you just kind of really let it all hang out. You didn't sugarcoat it or craft it as much as you could have. It was just you, unadulterated.
Yeah. It would probably be on the new album. It's a song called, I'm not sure what it's called. I'm not sure if it's called I Don't Want to Be. I'm not sure if it's called Gotta Be Me. This is actually one of, I think, the best songs I've ever written, just because it is so personal. I sat at a piano with the producer Chuck Harmony, and, Chuck Harmony's on the album. And I had to get out what I was feeling, and that was actually the first song I completely wrote for this album, as opposed to co-writing and then eventually going on to write other songs. And the lyrics are they kind of go in, and I say things like, they treat my dreams like it's a game, like I'm a chess piece here for play. And if I challenge their perceptions, could you forgive my indiscretions? Because I always feel like, as artists, we're sometimes forced to play the game and have to have a filter, and nobody wants to hear what we're really going through because everybody wants the positive all the time. But I feel that way sometimes. I just need to listen, and I don't want to be what you want me to be. I just want to be me. And it was really, really personal, to the point that I cried when I heard it after I had done it, because I had really put myself vulnerable out there to let people know, I struggle with it just like you do. People trying to, with identity, people trying to tell you who you need to be, and it's okay to just be yourself at the end of the day. So that's really my message, and I feel so much more comfortable after writing that song with who I am.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for speaking.
Thank you. Hey, what's going on? Town business, what's going on? This is Melanie Fiona, and I just want to give a big shout out to 38 Notes for repping for great music, and of course, the wonderful people of Oakland. Much love.
Okay, he's got my number, and you can't want me, baby, here I am. Either you make the time, or just